It's time for Rabbi Minkowicz's Weekly Torah Lesson, a place where life's most difficult questions are answered. Here with his spiritual perspective and insight, Rabbi Minkowicz.
Welcome to this week's Torah lesson. This week we are celebrating Rosh Hashana. So the question of the week is, what is the most powerful way to connect to God on Rosh Hashana? So as we celebrate Rosh Hashana, one of the mitzvot on Rosh Hashana is to blow the shofar. And the question is, why do we blow a shofar? So the Baal Shem Tov gives an analogy of a prince that was sent away from his father's palace, and he goes on a journey, and he's off on his journey of life, and then one day he decides he wants to come back home. But in his journey, he forgot about the way of life that he lived in his father's palace, and he comes back, he wasn't recognized. And he comes to the guards and says, "Let me in, it's my dad." And they said, "We don't recognize you." And they wouldn't let him in. So he gives out a cry from his heart, "Dad!" And his father hears this voice of his son, and he comes and he lets him into the palace. So the Baal Shem Tov says that's the same thing what happens at Rosh Hashana. We come to God by blowing the shofar. In other words, we're calling to God not with speeches, not with sales talks, and not with emotional pitches, just we're blowing the shofar and we want to connect to God. So the Rebbe asks a simple question. Why is it that when it comes to Rosh Hashana, today that we want to come close to God, we bring a story of a prince that went off the way and didn't recognize his father. His father didn't recognize him only from the sound of his voice. Why don't we bring something more in a positive note? But the Rebbe explains, because the message of the story is not so much the fact that he went away, that the prince left and didn't connect with his father. The message of the story is that ultimately our deepest and purest connection with God is just like the connection of that child with his father, that when the child called out "Dad," "Daddy," there was nothing in between. It was an essential connection that was the deepest, and that created the real connection. So the answer to the question, how can we connect with God in Rosh Hashana? The answer is by creating and recreating our pure and essential connection that God is our Father and we are His children, and then we will be connected to God on Rosh Hashana. This week's Torah lesson is in memory of Baruch ben Aryeh Leib and Shlomo ben Yosef. May their souls be elevated for the Torah that we're studying in their memory. Thanks so much for joining us for our weekly Torah lesson. For more information on Chabad, please see our website.